you've written a great prompt before. You know you have. And it worked perfectly. AI gave you the exact answer that you needed. You thought, awesome. And then you closed the tab and moved on. The next time you needed the same thing, you opened a fresh chat and you were trying to just remember how you phrased it. You wrote something vaguely similar and got something vaguely worse. Now, that's not bad prompting, that's absence of a system. It's a single habit that separates people who get consistent, reliable results from AI and people who get random ones. That is the prompt library. So it's not a complicated or technical thing, just a saved collection of your best performing prompts, organized by tasks, somewhere you can actually find them. And this video tells you exactly how to build one from start to finish. Let's start. First, what a prompt library actually is. So a prompt library is not a software or an app. It's not even a complicated database. It's a simple document. It could be Google Docs, Notion, Apple Notes, Word file. It genuinely doesn't matter. What matters is it is somewhere that you actually go, somewhere you can search, and somewhere you can copy from in about 10 seconds. Not more, not less. Okay, so you just go and get that prompt in a jiffy. Okay, so think of it like a recipe book, but for AI tasks instead of meals. So when you cook something new and it comes out really well, you write down this recipe so you can, make it again. Same result, same effort, no guessing. You're not just being lazy or something, you're just being efficient. The creativity already went into developing the recipe. So now you use it again. And a prompt library is the same thing. The hard work of figuring out exactly how to ask for something, what to ask, all of that is done once. You save it and you reuse it. Refine it over time until it's basically perfect, but make it simple for yourself. So most people who've been using AI for more than a few months have accidentally built a tiny version of this. They prompt something, then they copy paste it from the note. This video is just trying to make it intentional. So how do you do it? Step one, identify your repeatable tasks. Very important. So before you write down a single prompt template, you need a list. Like open a blank page and write down every AI assisted task you do or you could do more than twice a month, at least. Okay, that's the key. So not everything, not your most complex one of creativity task, something that is repeatable, something that you do often. So just the repeatable stuff that, things that keep coming back around often. For most professionals, this list looks something like this. Okay, so it could be like writing or editing emails for specific situations, like following up, declining something, asking for something. Maybe for marketers, it could be like drafting social media captions, same format, different topics, week after week. It could also be summarizing documents, like reports, meeting notes, um, turning long things into like short things. Repurposing content also, like taking one piece of writing and then adapting it into a different format or for a different platform. Basically, anything. It could also be like generating ideas for content or campaigns or for any new launches, writing briefs for colleagues, for freelancers, for clients, basically any and everything that you can imagine it to be repeatable uh, based on your day-to-day work. So your list will obviously be specific to your work, and that specificity is the point. A generic prompt library you can download from the internet, and honestly, it won't save you as much time as the one you build around the exact tasks that you actually do. So aim for like 10 to 15 tasks. That's more than enough to start. And more than 20, I'm sure you'll never finish building it. So that is the sweet spot. Like 10 to 12, 10 to 15, that is honestly the sweet spot that you can aim for. Now we go for step number 2. Build a template prompt for each task. So for each task on your list, you're going to write down one template prompt. Not a fresh prompt every time, like one template with which has like placeholders for the bits that change. So a placeholder is just like a fill in the blank kind of a thing. So you fill it each time you use, and the thing is, it's different from the first use to the next one. You know, the topic, the audience, the specific context, everything else in the template stays the same, but these little parts keep changing. And you already have the bare bone of it. So you write it in you write these variables in square brackets, so it's like visually obvious to you, and something like this that you see on your screen. So a prompt template for a social media caption could be: act as a social media copywriter for whatever brand name, as a brand description, targeting whoever the audience is, write 3 captions for whatever the specific platform is about the specific topic or campaign, and each caption should be under whatever the word count is. Lead with the hook type, you know, whatever it is, bold statement, surprising fact, then the tone, warm, direct, whatever, and avoid certain phrases, and finally end with a soft CTA towards whatever the goal is. Do you notice what's happening there? The structure, the role, the platform, the hook type, the tone, the CTA direction, that that's like tested. You know it works like this. And that's why you repeat it again. The specifics of it, where there is the brand name, the topic, the word count, audience, whatever needs to change, every time based on your client or based on the brand that you're working for, those are your placeholders. And in some cases, for example, if you're working for just one particular brand, then that variable is also reduced. So depending on your work type, the variables could reduce or increase depending on the task that you're picking up. But when you use this template, you open it, paste it into AI, fill in the blanks, and go. There is no two thoughts before you do that, which is the most interesting part. 30 seconds of setup instead of 3 minutes of like thinking about how to phrase it, how to request it. The hard part is done once and you repeat it again and again. So every time you use it, you can keep refining it. And when you refine, you again, replace the old template. If the output is consistently missing something, you can always add an instruction. And if there is like a phrase that AI keeps using again, you can add that into the avoid list. And that's how the template gets better with each use. And that compounding is the whole point. Your prompts don't just save time, they just get better over time. Compounding works everywhere, including in AI. All right, that brings us to step 3, which is most important. Store it somewhere you'll actually use it. So, this sounds pretty obvious, but it's where most prompt libraries go to die. Okay, store it somewhere you will actually go, not somewhere like super organized or something, not something super impressive, just somewhere you naturally, like you open naturally, like a part of your workday. If you live in Notion, it's Notion. If you use Google Docs every day, it's Google Docs. If your most opened app is Apple Notes, then fine, just use that. The format doesn't save you time, the access does. So the workflow you want is like the task comes up, you open this prompt library, you find the right template in under 10 seconds, paste it, fill in the blanks, and send. If there are too many steps in between the task coming up and the prompt being ready to use, you'll honestly stop using this within a week. So a few things that can help is you should name your prompts clearly. Like, this is the social caption for Instagram. Don't say like prompt number 7, prompt number 8, etc. Name them clearly so that it's easier to find. Keep them all in one document so that it's not scattered across and you don't get irritated finding that. And if your library gets bigger than 15 prompts, add a simple table of contents on the top or somehow in which you can easily categorize it. That's it. There's no need of any kind of special software or any complicated tagging system. Just a document you can search and copy from in 10 seconds. That's all that you need. So, coming to the important point, what does this actually do to your week? So, let me be honest about what this does for you. A prompt library, the first week you build it, you'll spend more time than you save, because building 10 to 15 templates can take a few hours spread across the week easily. Of course, it is an investment. From week 2 onwards, for most people, a working prompt library saves somewhere between like 2 to 5 hours a week, not because each task takes lesser time dramatically, but because across 20 or 30 AI interaction week, you're eliminating a lot of these by eliminating the setup friction every time on each one. That can add up really fast. So that time gets reduced, and then comes the bigger payoff, which is consistency. When a colleague or a client asks you to produce something super quickly, you're not starting from scratch, you're filling in the blanks. The quality is reliable because now the structure is proven. And 6 months from then, the library is genuinely a valuable thing you've built over time, a collection of like tested, refined prompts that reflect how you work, what you make, and who you make it for. Nobody else has that, and you built it. That is an asset that you've created for yourself. I have put together a starter prompt library template. It's 10 task categories, like each with some placeholder based structure, ready to adapt and for your work. It's free, it's in the description, and it'll give you a good head start on the list we just talked about in step 1. I would be happy if you just take a look and refer it, but I would be happier if you built your own prompt and let me know in the comments how it went for you. So, yep, in the next video, we are going to go one level up from individual prompts, where we are going to talk about how to build AI into an entire workflow, not just like individual tasks, but a whole process from start to finish, with AI doing the mechanical work at every step that it is suited for. It's the video that makes this prompt library feel like a foundation rather than the destination. So stay tuned for that. And if you want to check out the entire course of AI for non-tech professionals, the link is in the description. Bye-bye.